Hey, this is Lou Gramm, and you're watching Artisan News.
I want to thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us today.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
And let's just jump right into the tour that you're doing now. What is the approach, doing this tour?
Well, this is my band. The tour is it just continues to celebrate my music with Foreigner, my own solo albums, and it's just an ongoing thing, and we enjoy being out on the road for short spurts at a time. And everybody likes going home again, though, too. But we have a lot of fun on stage, and that's what counts. Yeah, we do. It's kind of it's that way. I've been in this business quite a long time and done a lot of tours where you haven't been off the bus to see your family in over a month sometimes. I don't think I would or could do that again. This is kind of the best of both worlds. I'm on my third marriage. It's just the way it is. I've got 2 children from my first wife. I've got 13-year-old twins from my second wife, and my current wife is expecting.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congrats.
And I love being dad, let me tell you.
What is the most fulfilling part of you for being dad?
I think just being a kid with them again, doing the things with them that they like to do, and although, Dad sometimes has to be the disciplinarian and can be very serious at sometimes, I also can roll around in the dirt and be a kid, and they know that too.
I guess maybe it might be the next time you're in New York, or maybe not the next time. Songwriters Hall of Fame. It's called. How does that feel?
Feels fantastic. I was just stunned. I read up on the Songwriters Hall of Fame, and boy, are we in some good company. And when I say we, I mean Mick Jones and myself are being inducted together, which is I think it's a really, really good thing. And I've talked with Mick for the first time in over 10 years, and he seems to be doing well. His health has improved quite a bit. The Hall of Fame people would like for us actually to perform a few songs. So I've been on the phone with Mick talking about what couple songs we're going to do, and I think we're going to do them with the house band for the awards show.
Excellent. Have you decided which ones you're going to do yet?
Yeah, but I'm not going to tell you.
It's just one of those sales. Just gonna have to wait, just like the rest of everybody else. But what was that? Was it now you made the call or Mick made the call, and to speak to him after such a long time, was that a difficult process?
I made the call. It wasn't so difficult, considering we were both being honored as a team, a songwriting team. I didn't have any trepidations about it. I called him and congratulated him. And then he congratulated me, and we both knew that they were expecting us to perform a couple songs, and we got right down to talking about it. And I think there's probably going to be a couple rehearsals with the house band too, maybe the day before the awards, and I think it's going to, whatever happens, it's going to be a lot of fun.
The toxic twins, as they call them, Steven Tyler and Joe Perry. So, what are your dealings with Aerosmith? Did you guys ever run into each other on the road?
We have, yeah, a number of times over the years. and we never had any problems with them. They've always treated us good, and we in turn to them.
Are there any memories or any kind of debauchery going on back in the day between you two? I don't know.
Not really. The only thing I could think of was we were playing our hometown of Rochester, New York. Foreigner was, and we this is right after Foreigner 4, the Foreigner 4 album, and we were supposed to headline Rochester Red Wing baseball field, outdoor show, a lot of people, and Aerosmith was our special guest. So we were waiting for them to go on, and we got the word from the promoter that they weren't here, and the crowd was getting restless. So he asked us if we would go on, and rather than have the crowd get rowdy or anybody get hurt, we did go on. And while we were playing our first song, they all pulled up in their bus. So they ended up headlining, and we were their special guest. You know, that kind of stuck in our craw, but it's just one of those things, I think, you know.
Also speaking of unfortunate tour mishaps, I guess when you were in Black Sheep, you had that accident.
Yes.
Now, did any of you guys personally speak to Kiss or to apologize or explain what happened before you were?
Oh yeah, we spoke to their tour manager, you know, and we tried everything that we could think of to put some equipment together and get a vehicle to haul it in, you know, because when the accident happened, it was Christmas Eve night. We played Boston Music Hall. It was our first show of the tour with them, and that night after the show, we wanted to drive back home to Rochester to be with our families on Christmas, and I guess the crew hit a patch of ice. The truck slid off the New York State Thruway and tipped over on its side. You know, they got some bumps and bruises, but it was the equipment that was mostly destroyed. You know, and we were young guys in our 20s then. We were begging our parents to borrow some money. You know, hey, we were opening for Kiss. You know, we can't let this opportunity slip by. You know, but it was it was 1975, and there was kind of a recession in the States. Money was tight, and unfortunately, our parents couldn't come up with the kind of money that we needed for equipment and a truck. So we sadly had to inform the tour manager that we wouldn't be able to continue, and it broke our hearts, and that basically was the end of the band. And about 3-4 months later, I got a call from this fellow Mick Jones.
That's when the history was made.
Yes, it was. That was the
And,
beginning.
one thing I did want to say is that, personally, I think you're one of the greatest rock singer, pure rock singer.
That's a big compliment. Thank you.
And what happens, and I've seen Foreigner lately, but it's not the same. And even other rock bands, when you see them, I mean, do you realize that you were setting a standard that very few vocalists really could touch?
Never thought about it really. You know, I know that we did our best to craft good songs and put together meaningful albums side to side. Remember, an album on songs on one side and songs on the other? You know, it's not no more. but that was, we used to make sure the running order of each side was like the first song would be powerful, and then the last song would leave the listener where he'd want to play the other side, you know. Now it's just all one side, isn't it?
It is. Or not even that, it's just a track on iTunes.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Things
right?
are different.
Exactly. So let me ask you about Foreigner 4. What do you remember about recording that?
The producer was Mutt Lange, and he had just produced I think it might have been the Back in Black album for AC/DC, and he was really particular about songs and song structure, and he knew I could sing, but he was trying to get me to sing raspy and more or less scream like Bon Scott and Brian Johnson, right? And you know, I certainly could put some grit into my voice, and he did push me, but I didn't want to blow it out for sure, you know. But there's quite a few moments when I gave him everything he could take and more, as far as that goes. I mean, Urgent, songs like that, you know, Jukebox Hero, those songs, I put it all out there, you know.
I want to know what love is something that is kind of lasted throughout the generations. My kids know that song, love that song. Now, I just wanted to find out, did you know that it was something that was that special when you were recording it?
We had a feeling that we certainly knew it was something like we'd never done before, and we felt that it more or less transcended styles. You know, it wasn't necessarily a rock song, but it wasn't a middle of the road or AOR. You know, it was something that could be played on all types of stations. You know, and it got a ton of airplay. It actually was our only #1 song for all the years we were together.
Now, how do you look upon that, you know, upon your body of work with Foreigner these days?
With a lot of pride. I know we spent time before we went in the studio crafting the songs and making sure that they were interesting musically and lyrically and melodically, that the arrangements were straightforward but not necessarily predictable. I think while we didn't shoot for any virtuoso musical performances, I think we did try to make sure that all the performances were off the cuff and interesting. You know, the like the guitar solo in Hot Blooded, I think, is one of Mick's best ever. It's real rock. It's a real rock solo, you know.
It's got some quirks in there too.
Certainly does.
You know.
And that was just his style, you know, and he made that work like you wouldn't believe. So you know, that's kind of what we shot for. And although we had a number of good producers from Keith Olsen to Mutt Lang, we would not let the producer put his stamp on us. We used his ideas to enhance our music. We didn't let him manipulate us into sounding like one of the many albums he produced. Our albums always sounded like us.
And one thing I did want to ask you, I know you've been through a lot health-wise. I mean, how are you doing, and is it something that gets better gradually?
Well, I think it is. It's been 16 years since my operation now, and I think the first 5 or 6 years were a living nightmare for me, and I was still on the road. I had such memory problems. I had the lyrics to the songs, the new ones and the old ones, written out and taped to the floor all around me. So if I was doing a certain song and coming up on the second verse, and the second verse didn't come to me, I could glance at the lyrics on the floor and start that verse, and then keep going from there. It was really tough. I did not look healthy. The massive steroids I was taking put on a lot of weight on me. I had sleep apnea. I couldn't sleep. I was like a walking zombie. When I think back on it, I had no business being on stage. I should have been reclusing somewhere, but apparently the responsibilities and the tours that were already booked had to be contractually fulfilled. And so, I mean, I did a 10-month bus tour, and a couple times I thought I was going to die on that bus.
Is hear like an improvement? Like how how do you see improvement?
Well, I certainly didn't feel any improvement for the first 4 or 5 years. My life was a nightmare. I you know I know the operation was a success. I thought my life would be returning back to some sort of normalcy, but it was not. From the sleep apnea to the headaches, to the steroid use, to the weight gain, to just the number of things were it was like nagging stuff that I just wanted gone, and I couldn't get rid of it. But around 2002, 2003, the fog started lifting. I really was living in a fog. I think in 2001 or 2002, I fell asleep at the wheel about 3 times within a 2 or 3 month period, and got in 3 head-on crashes. Once with my twins in the car. And I voluntarily turned in my license after that, before I killed somebody, if not myself. And it just was. It was just. I guess it was in God's time that He was going to bring me some semblance of normalcy and a little peace in my life. And the fog did lift, and I started thinking a lot clearer, and I actually realized I was getting better.
Tell me about reconnecting with Mick, and do you think there's any chance that there might be any kind of permanent reconciliation with Mick, or maybe even rejoin?
Well, when we had talked for the first time in over 10 years, it was surprisingly a friendly discussion. I didn't detect any animosity from him, nor did I feel any towards him. We were both excited about the award we were going to receive later this year, and I think generally pleased that we were going to take the stage together again. Whether there's more shows for us in the offing or not, I honestly don't know. But I mean, I think if I think it would be a fitting end to the band to have a real farewell tour. And do a number of large cities with a couple great acts as our guests, and have a foreigner farewell tour, and really go out the way most bands would like to go out and don't.